Welcome to Bookmarked. Here's a question that can completely change how we see history. What would the world look like if Jesus Christ had never been born? According to Dr. James Kennedy and Jerry Newcomb, this single question reshapes everything, from our laws and culture to our everyday lives. Whether someone is religious or not, one truth is hard to deny. No one has influenced human civilization more deeply than Jesus Christ. So let's dive in and explore why, through the lens of this book. One of the most profound changes Christianity brought was how human life itself was valued. In the ancient pagan Western world before Christ, human life was often cheap. Infanticide was common. Baby girls were routinely abandoned. Slavery was normal. Gladiatorial games entertained massive crowds with bloodshed and death. Christianity challenged this worldview with a radical idea. Every human being is made in the image of God. Jesus consistently defended the vulnerable. In Matthew 19 verse 14 he said,
"Let the little children come to me.
We love you, Jesus.
The kingdom of heaven belongs to them."
Belief slowly transformed societies. Infanticide was outlawed. Gladiatorial games were abolished. Slavery, once considered normal and inevitable, was eventually abolished too. First in the ancient world and later through Christian reformers like William Wilberforce in the 19th century. Jesus also reshaped how people understood marriage and family. In Matthew 19 verses 4 to 6, he reaffirmed monogamy, grounding marriage in faithfulness and mutual commitment. As Christianity spread, practices like polygamy, often harmful to women, disappeared wherever Christian teaching took root. The idea that men and women were morally equal before God was revolutionary for its time and elevated the dignity of women across cultures. Another lasting legacy of Jesus is charity. In the ancient pagan world, institutions like hospitals, orphanages, and organized care for the poor were virtually unknown. These emerged directly from Christ's command to love one's neighbor. Many of today's humanitarian organizations began as explicitly Christian efforts, the YMCA, YWCA, and the Salvation Army to name a few. Even when some later became secular, they continued operating on the values Christianity introduced. Quite simply, remove Jesus from history, and figures like Mother Teresa would never have existed. This leads to a deeper question. Why should one person care for another at all? Can genuine, self-sacrificial love arise purely from chance and time under an atheistic worldview? Pantheism emphasizes detachment rather than personal sacrifice. But caring for a sick child with emotional distance is very different from sacrificing sleep and comfort out of love. Sacrificial love, love that gives itself for others, finds its fullest expression in Christianity. Without the influence of Jesus Christ, the world would likely be far colder and far more cruel. Christianity also transformed education. Before its influence, learning was largely reserved for elites and focused on training rulers, not serving society as a whole. Christianity promoted literacy so ordinary people could read scripture for themselves. This emphasis helped lay the foundation for universal education, universities, and the modern school system. Even the printing press rose to prominence through the Gutenberg Bible. Across Europe and America, universities such as Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, and Princeton were founded with explicitly Christian purposes, to study God, Scripture, and the natural world. Though their missions have changed, their origins reflect Christianity's deep commitment to learning and truth. In the 19th and 20th centuries, missionaries continued this legacy by establishing countless schools, colleges, and hospitals across Asia and Africa, many of which still operate today. Few forces in history have done more to advance global education and literacy. In modern America, as public education has become more secular, its quality has declined. Literacy assessments show weaker reading skills. And the moral guidance once reinforced by churches, families, and schools has been largely replaced by media and online culture. Attitudes toward abortion, divorce, gender roles, and substance use have grown more permissive. Without the influence of Jesus Christ, humanity would remain in the darkness of ignorance. And sadly, we now seem to be drifting back toward it. Isaiah 40 verse 22 talks about the circle of the earth, written over 2,700 years ago, long before modern astronomy, and demonstrates insight far ahead of surrounding cultures. Christianity also played a central role in the rise of modern science. Contrary to popular belief, faith and scientific inquiry were not enemies. Early scientists like Copernicus and Galileo, both devout Christians, believed the universe was orderly because it was created by a rational God, a view consistent with biblical insights such as those in Isaiah. This conviction encouraged them to study nature systematically rather than rely solely on ancient authorities. Their work laid the foundation for later scientists like Isaac Newton, who developed the laws of motion and universal gravitation, shaping the scientific world we know today. In this way, modern science didn't emerge despite Christianity. It emerged largely because of it.
The stars align tonight. Jupiter's moons are clear. A new constellation is born.
The influence of Jesus Christ also runs deep in ideas of freedom and human rights. The belief that people possess inherent rights, not granted by governments but given by God, comes directly from Christian teaching. This was especially evident in early America. The Pilgrims formed covenant-based governments rooted in biblical principles. The Great Awakening shaped the nation's moral vision, and Christian thinkers emphasized accountability, limited government, and inalienable rights. The U.S. Constitution reflects a Christian understanding of human nature. People are flawed, and power must be restrained through separate branches of government, an idea echoed in Isaiah 33 verse 22. The Lord is our judge, lawgiver, and king. Today, freedoms like free speech and freedom of conscience grew out of this heritage. While the separation of church and state was designed to prevent religious persecution, it was never meant to remove God from public life entirely, as we increasingly see today. Jesus' influence has shaped laws, education, science, freedom, and society itself. But his impact isn't just on institutions or ideas. It reaches into the way we live every day. How we work, how we care for others, and how we express creativity and hope. In the next video, we'll explore these personal and cultural legacies, from work ethic to healing, art, and the power of grace in our lives.